Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I am very pleased that I was able to get a chance to speak to this bill, Bill C-368. I'd like to thank the member for Red Deer Lacombe for bringing it forward for the House's consideration. And the reason why I'm very pleased is because this is an issue concerning natural health products that has garnered a lot of attention in my riding of Cowichan, Malahat, Langford. I have had a lot of constituents and local businesses approach me about this issue in particular, and I'm pleased to be able to stand here as their elected representative to let my constituents know that I will be supporting this bill at second reading. I was also very pleased to be able to add my name as a joint seconder to the bill, and to fulfill the wishes of my constituents, I will be voting to send it to committee for further study. So what are we talking about when we're talking about natural health products? I've always thought about how, when they're regulated under a statute like the Food and Drugs Act, it's kind of a weird thing because they're not really a food nor are they a drug. They occupy a special place for many people. Let's face it, humans have had relationships with natural health products dating back thousands of years. Many of these products have a very special place in human history, and a lot of cultures have very long relationships with natural health products. Today, in the modern world, they often come in a variety of forms like tablets, capsules, tinctures, solutions, creams, ointments, and drops. There's quite a large variety for people to pick and choose from. They are often made from plants, but they can also come from animals, from microorganisms, and from marine sources. They include vitamins and minerals, herbal remedies, homeopathic medicines, traditional medicines, probiotics, and other products like amino acids and essential fatty acids, and they find themselves in many everyday consumer products. So let's come to the bill in question itself, Bill C-368. This bill, as shown in the summary, is going to amend the Food and Drugs Act to provide that natural health products are not therapeutic products within the meaning of that act, and therefore not subject to the same monitoring regime as other drugs. Now, before we get into the substance, I think we need to take a little bit of a history lesson on how we got here. And I do want to say that both conservatives and liberals have run into trouble when trying to regulate natural health products. In fact, the previous Harper government learned this lesson very quickly back in 2008 when it introduced Bill C-51. That was also an act to amend the Food and Drugs Act because under C-51, the term therapeutic products encompassed a range of products sold for therapeutic purposes, including drugs, medical devices, biologics, and natural health products. In the end, that bill was never adopted because of an election, but I do believe that the Harper government at that time learned its lesson because of the uproar that came in response to C-51, and they did not attempt to change Canada's regulations for natural health products again while in government. What they did do, though, was in 2014, there was Bill C-17, which again, amending the Food and Drugs Act, that was also known as Vanessa's Law. So that did introduce a definition for the term therapeutic product, but what was different this time was that the definition of therapeutic product was worded in a way so that it did not include a natural health product within the meaning of the natural health products regulations. So then we fast forward to the present Liberal government with Bill C-47. That in a clause that was buried deep within a Budget Implementation Act again amended the term therapeutic product to make sure that that exemption from the natural health products regulations was actually removed. And that indeed, Madam Speaker, has caused much of the uproar that we see today. So I do want to point out that, first of all, as I said in my intro, natural health products have a long history of use in Canada as low risk and affordable methods of promoting well-being. It is very important that I stand here today and say unequivocally that they must remain accessible to all Canadians. I'm proud to be a member of a caucus as New Democrats. We have long supported an appropriate regulatory category for natural health products to certify their safety and efficacy that is based on sound evidence, but also to ensure they are widely available for those who use and value them. And it is unacceptable that the changes to the regulatory regime under the Food and Drugs Act was snuck into a budget omnibus bill because it did not allow the proper study. And I'm glad to see that through Bill C-368, because it is a standalone and quite simple and easy to read piece of legislation, we are actually going to get this bill, I think, from reading the room with enough votes to committee where we can actually have the proper study, that we can hear from Canadians, we can hear from the businesses who sell natural health products, from the people, the practitioners who are involved in this every day, and finally get the proper scrutiny that this issue so richly deserves. I don't want to spend too much longer speaking to this bill, but I do want to talk a little bit about my riding of Cowichan, Malahat, Langford, the people who have taken the time to write to my office, who took the time to phone me personally, and to come into my office and sit down. And essentially, in particular, Madam Speaker, I want to recognize a few of the local businesses. Essential Remedies, we had Benoit Health, we had also some holistic health practitioners, the Community Farm Store, we had Botanical Bliss, we had a certified homeopathic practitioner, a naturopathic physician, Lynn's Vitamin Gallery. They all took the time in the summer of 2023 to come into my office. We had a great roundtable discussion, lasted well over an hour, and it was really enlightening for me as their member of parliament to sit down to hear their views on this subject and to really learn a little bit more about why this subject is so important. I mean, yes, my immediate family, we definitely use natural health products. I know many friends and relatives in my immediate vicinity who also use natural health products. But I think to hear from professionals who work with clients every day on why this issue is so important was particularly enlightening for me. And it's also important, Madam Speaker, to note that 71%, that is a very big number. 71% of Canadians have used natural health products like vitamins and minerals, herbal products, and homeopathic medicines. So it is important that when the NHP community is speaking to us as their elected representatives, it represents a very clear majority of Canadians. And I think based on a proper cross-sampling of the correspondence that I've received, and I know that many other members have received, they want their elected representatives to treat this issue with the seriousness that it deserves, to give this bill full scrutiny. I want to take the final moments in my speech to really congratulate them. The NHP community and industry have been very actively engaged on this issue, and through their work, through the local businesses in my riding of Cowichan, Malahat, Langford, the constituents that live on Vancouver Island, I really want to single them out and congratulate them for their advocacy, for stepping up to the plate, for engaging me as their elected representative, because it has worked, Madam Speaker. It has worked, and I am proud to say that in this place, as their elected representative, I will be pleased to vote for this bill for C-368 to send it to committee. With that, I will conclude, and I appreciate having had this opportunity to make some remarks on this subject. Thank you.
The honourable member for